Buenos dias. Welcome. Good morning. Welcome to Star King Unitarian Universalist Church in Hayward, California. We're glad you're here, and we hope that in the next hour you'll feel connected to a loving community committed to social and environmental justice. We acknowledge that Hayward, California is a lonely land, and that for thousands of years this land was inhabited by people who lived here peacefully and cared for the land in a way that honored all that was here before us. We hope that we can amplify that truth and learn from the Ohlone people what it means to be stewards of this beautiful land and to be inspired to form meaningful relationships with local indigenous peoples working to protect this sacred land, repair injustices, and move forward together in honorable ways. This morning, we have a special guest, Carla Stalling Walter. Carla is a former member of Star King Church and author of Sacred Dance Meditations, 365 Movement Practices, Enhancing Awakening, Clarity, and Connection. Welcome back, Carla. It's wonderful to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Nice
for
to be
being
here.
here with us today. I will have a little bit more to say about Carla a little bit later, round out some of her resume, although it would take hours to just read her resume. Anyway, we are now about to light the chalice, and Diane Meyerson will light the chalice for us, and I will read the words. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. Now we will watch the video of our opening song, Let It Be a Dance.
Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the word, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like a willow with the wind, let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes out at night.
Lori?
Hello, friends. Hello, friends. That's what we say in Happy Heart Circle time. You are my friend. So welcome to Soulful Family Ministry. We have a great story for you. It's called Giraffes Can't Dance. So enjoy the story. Take care, everybody. Blessed be.
Hi everyone, Savannah here from Savannah Kids. And Charlie the cheetah too. I hope you've been practicing your dance moves because we've been invited to the jungle dance in Africa. Let's sing the story Giraffes Can't Dance, written by Giles Andre and illustrated by Guy Parker Reese. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Now every year in Africa they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad, because when it came to dancing he was really very bad. The warthog started waltzing, and the rhinos rocked and rolled. The lions danced a tango, which was elegant and bold. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel. And 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked toward the floor, but the lions saw him coming and they soon began to roar. Hey, look at clumsy Gerald, the animals all sneered. Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird. Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. They're right, he thought. I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot. So he crept off from the dance floor and he started walking home. He'd never felt so sad before, so sad or so alone. Then he found a little clearing and he looked up at the sky. The moon can be so beautiful, he whispered with a sigh. Excuse me, coughed a cricket who'd seen Gerald earlier on. But sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to. With that the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying his tail was swishing around. He threw his legs out sideways and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and he leapt up in the air. Gerald felt so wonderful, his mouth was open wide. I am dancing, yes I'm dancing, I am dancing, Gerald cried. Then one by one each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, it's a miracle, we must be in a dream. Gerald's the best dancer we have ever seen. Gerald's the best dancer we have ever seen. How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how. But Gerald simply twirled round and finished with the bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. We all can dance, he said, when we find music that we love.
This is the time in our service when we pause to share our joys, our concerns, and our sorrows. We reserve the chat box during this time just for joys and sorrows. And I will read them as they come in, and Diane will light candles to honor each one of them. Well, I'll have a joy that I will like to share. That welcome and so great to see Carla again. She wasn't with the church for too long, but she made an impression then, and she's still making an impression. And I know Diane and I love her. Anyone else going to share a joy or a sorrow? Here we go. It's Jennifer Coney. Sorrow for the passing of my first cousin, Dennis Casina, last night. He was the only child of my dear Aunt Bernice. May he rest in peace and his family be comforted. We are with you in that. David Longfellow, to everyone. Oh, okay. Reserve the chat box for joys and sorrows. And Stephanie Smith, prayers for my sister Melody's cancer surgery tomorrow. We will be thinking of her. Mary Swain, a prayer for our family friend Timo Echi and his family who lives in Germany, which has had horrible flooding. Yes, we've all been watching that. We could use some of that water here though. Roy and Diana, to everyone. Great getting together with friends for dinner yesterday and looking forward to upcoming trip to Spokane for a wedding. Safe travels, happy wedding. We'll wait a few moments. There's David Longfellow. Prayers for my niece, Lindsay, and family, whose dog passed away after a wonderful 15 years. Anyone who's ever lost a pet can empathize with that, David. is Beth Ogilvy, a sorrow for the passing of my crazy and wonderful hiking buddy, John McKelly. Some of my most memorable hiking experiences involve John. Sorry for your loss, Beth. From Claudia McDonald, joyful work party with Lori Miller and Reverenda. The fellowship hall has lovely, fresh paint. Well, thank you so much, and I'm glad you're sharing that as a joy. From Al Murdoch to everyone, we attended a memorial for Jean Saz yesterday. She was an important person at DMT. And you share your sorrow, Al. Wait a few more moments. And I would like to share the sorrows and the joys and the expectations and hopes of all those who have not shared today out loud, but whose hearts have joys and sorrows within them. Let us then repeat the following.
There's
Oh,
Leah Cassini has one.
oh, I'm sorry, didn't see it. From Leah, a joy for the new Heritage Plaza in Hayward. The dedication ceremony was great yesterday. The Aloni members spoke. The Taiko drummers played. Mayor Halliday spoke, and the Russell City Blues band played. With that, then, we would ask you to read along for the, with the, oh, another one from Mary Lou.
No, that's
Pardon?
just the prayer. That's,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, we all repeat that. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding you. There is a love holding all. We rest in that love. And now our next dance is a hula, the heartbeat of the Hawaiian people. That would be now.
E ala e pa. E ala e kalai kahikina I ka moana honu I ka lewa nu'u I ka hikina ai a kala e ala e.
In Hawaii, we have a term, kuleana, which means responsibility. To be a kumuhula, that's a huge kuleana. The Hawaiian people did not have a written language, and it was the hula that kept all the stories alive. and I take that responsibility of perpetuating the hula very, very serious.
It's your one song of the night. You're only dancing one song.
People say, is hula a pastime? Is it a hobby? The hula is our bridge to the past, the foundation of our Hawaiian people. It's my life. "60 women have to tell the same story. So we have to dance as one, think as one. Our souls need to be as one. There's a time in our history when hula was forbidden. That was a sad time in our history. But King Kalakaua said, the hula is the heartbeat of the Hawaiian people. So where there is Hawaiian people, there needs to be the hula.
Well, we again welcome Dr. Walter. And in addition to her authorship of dance meditations, she also holds a doctorate in dance history and theory and has more than 30 years of experience choreographing, teaching, and working with others to help them with spiritual development through sacred dance. She is the named Martha Daniel Newell Visiting Scholar at Georgia College and State University, is an associate of osteopathic medicine and certified spiritual counselor. Please welcome once again our guest, Dr. Carla Stalling-Walter.
Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for being here today. And thank you for the invitation to once again join you. I have to say I miss our fellowship, especially our Wednesday night meditation group. And I send you all a great, big, warm, wonderful spiritual hug. Today, what I'm going to do is basically go through some text, and then we will take a moment and learn a brief dance, and then we'll come back and see how we can apply some of those dance moves to our daily interaction. The dance moves you need not fear. They're very simple and we can make them beautiful. They're also very accessible. So if you're not able to stand or you don't choose to stand, you're more than welcome to sit and be in your seated position. I do ask that if you wouldn't mind leaving your camera on as we do the dance, just because it helps to build a sense of community. Anyway, I hope that I won't run out of time. I may be just a few minutes long. I hope you will indulge us in that. But anyway, so the title of today's experience is, what is my spiritual responsibility? Standing at the lion gate, sphinxes, they say, this is my doing. And this is what we have to say always. Mycenae priestesses were associated with royalty in the palatial cities of Mycenae, Tiryns, Pylos, Athens, and Thebes from about 1600 to 1100 BC, and were usually wealthy, key bearers, were women who had authority over the sacred treasury of a particular deity and were able to dispense from it in times of need. They had the power to assess a situation and respond accordingly to the people. Sacred dance meditations brought forth the certainty of sacred ministry for those who witnessed and engaged with the power of sacred dance. They just needed to first claim their role, their part, that is, in creating the situation. What is a sacred treasury? Well, sure, it's money, but it's also support, love, consideration for other beings. It's the unveiling of barriers that prevent forward movement and replacing them with solutions so the light can shine. So whatever anyone, such as your parents or your family members, teachers, bosses, or anyone else, alive or transcended, did to you that you perceive as wrong, you have to work in the present to overcome it. Any self-loathing and self-punishment or thoughts of lack are all veiled forms of blaming others. Instead, own your amazing self. At the city gate in Mycenae, people were greeted with two grand lionesses on both sides of the entry archway. In this palatial society, the lioness was associated with the goddesses, known for sacred dance, meditation, prowess, and the relationship between human mortality and spiritual immortality. The lionesses represented the goddesses and stood guard at the entrance of the city, symbolizing the mix between human and spiritual power. They stood sentry and reminded the people of the day that there was sacred love and compassion from the heavens, and that of being able to overcome any barrier to sustaining plenty, and never doubting for a second the greatness of one's life and abilities. These were sacred givens, understood to be manifest for any person. These beliefs often formed the basis of the sacred dance meditations and allowed for creation of a reality that was fulfilling and focused on knowing the truth of being. Your sole responsibility is to own your power and not be afraid of it. Once you realize this deep power, it's freeing. Once we admit just how beautiful and amazing we are deep in our core, we freely live that truth. We don't hide behind blaming or other thought patterns that are not good enough, that we're not good enough, that we don't know what our truth is. We do know. We are beautiful, light-filled beings, and we are freely responsible for that. We use that freedom to influence the universe, to create worlds and circumstances rather than letting things happen to us. In this way, we're keeping our spiritual power. Now, sacred dance meditations practiced during the times of the Mycenae Empire were led by priestesses. These women, carefully selected and nurtured as an elite group, served the goddesses and humanity, leading sacred spiritual practices, rituals, and ceremonies with dance meditations. They were empowered to serve and to remind people of their true natures. They were totally responsible and accountable for their actions. A priestess during ancient Greek times was a vessel of eternity, a servant of the goddess, awake in her femininity and the power of the goddess as her inner mystic dancer. There were many such priestesses. They were light workers. They danced with the elements, practiced self-love, worshiped devotedly. They channeled wisdom and healing energies and harnessed and directed the divine forces, serving the greatest good. These characteristics were seen in sacred dances, which were the primary communication vessels. Many of you are also spiritually or psychically gifted. You can do things that no one else can do. Those gifts are a part of your responsibility to the world. It is why you're here. And there is need for healing. Whatever your pronoun, feminine, masculine, plural, neutral, this is where you come in. It's up to you to utilize your gifts and do what you're here to do. Denying this fact, you'll find that you experience spiritual stress. Denying your gifts for healing, foresight, speaking with spirits, leading, teaching, or whatever it is that you do is cutting you off from your true nature. Yet we're sometimes just so shrouded with negativity, it's hard to focus on keeping in line with our spiritual power. But our truth is in our soul. The goddesses, key bearers, priestesses, and head attendants. Those were women who were privileged to attend to and provide support for the women leaders of the spiritual community. Each of these women were also considered to be light workers and participated in sacred practice with dance, meditation, and celebrations, feasts, funerals, and other rituals. Yet there were definitely times when the light workers were asked to support a direction that may have been questionable, such as when Ophion began entertaining thoughts that were against the highest good and were self-serving in a way that was detrimental. In these instances, the matriarchs were in the position to use their light for good by saying or acting in a, quote, no fashion. Everyone has one basic responsibility, which is to be true to their own soul. Today, as then, it means being what you're created to be, offering respect to creation and to the attendants of creation. It is doing what is naturally done by trees and plants and everything else in the created universe. You express and show forth the essence of your own inner mystic dancer. Anyone who is absolutely and unfailingly true to his or her own soul will automatically always be in his or her right place within the universe at his or her right time to be there, and will therefore be in perfect alignment with the natural order of harmony of creation. This means that they will be making the best contribution they could possibly make to the order, beauty, and harmony of the whole. So, if we could be considered to have any responsibility to creation itself and to everything else which is part of creation, that responsibility would be met by exactly the same process of being unfailingly true to our own souls. In the case of humanity over the course of time, we know that some souls go astray and we don't know why. But regardless of the why, sometimes saying no when it's appropriate is required. A loving no in response to inappropriate use of spiritual power can change the direction of entire social structures. But often there's fear in saying no, mainly because of codependency, ego, and self. Or sometimes a no isn't upheld because of being talked out of it. In order to be who you truly are you ready to say no when it's appropriate? This is something that reverberates through all decisions and choices for which we are free to make. These choices and responses will reflect your innermost desires. The ancient Mycenae people, along with their ancestors, considered dance meditations to be vehicles through which the manifestations of their innermost desires arose because of the way they told themselves how creation came about. It was a dance of the goddess who followed her desires without having a preconceived outcome in mind. She knew it was her nature to enact the divine dance, and so she did. The people of Mycenae followed this example, and so did the attendants, key bearers, and priestesses. The reason you can always trust the innermost desires of your own heart is that they always direct you towards pure love. The soul's deepest desire is to experience fulfillment from pure love. The flow of the life force through pure love generates sacred connections and leads us to more revealed truth, both in ourselves and others. Beauty, truth, and spirit are one. In seeking one, all of them are received. This gives us a profound sense of freedom. Trusting innermost desires and following them in truth and divine respect is a spiritual right we all have. And this is how you know thyself. By the time the ancient Mycenaeans were living in Greece, many changes had taken place. The recollection of creation from sacred dance meditation was under siege, and the story was being rewritten. People from other lands and their gods were interested in shifting the conversations. Wars and unrest were common, and the beginning of trying to control how people knew key bearers, attendants, light workers, priestesses, and goddesses was underway. It seemed that the goal was to obscure the light and provide a story that led to having people forget their true selves. Some of this was accomplished by the story of the Sphinx, who was half goddess, half lioness, part eagle, and part serpent. It was said to stand at the city gate and ask people to answer a riddle. If they couldn't answer correctly, it ate them. Yet one individual, Oedipus, eventually answered correctly, and then it extinguished itself. From there, some people's inner knowing of the great goddess began to decline. Oedipus, however, suffering from jealousy, started revising the truth and handing it out, requiring people to believe it or perish. Every being's truth is created by love, and every being's truth is loved and supported by creation. No one can avoid this mystical law. Every being is capable of creating a life which will fulfill his, her, or its innermost desires. That life is there, available to accept or reject. Pain and suffering indicate a separation from truth as surely as joy indicates its presence. Our true responsibility is knowing the mystical law. The Mycenaeans were perhaps the last of the ancient Greeks to know the great goddess, but they weren't the last to know their true responsibilities. While much of the actual history is lost, they knew that the greatest responsibility was to understand what was theirs to do and what wasn't. Everything came from chaos, and to chaos was everything returned, because nothing was static in the universe. And there was change from allowing the sacred feminine to following the sacred masculine. And yet, the ancient Greeks continued to engage in sacred dances, in love and harmony, and even when these seemed to be foiled on the surface of things, the goddess knew she couldn't help Ophion, just as the Sphinx knew when it encountered Oedipus, it couldn't keep controlling people's awareness that they were responsible for themselves. To understand whether something is a mystical law level of responsibility, Linda Rowe suggests that if a situation gives energy, peace of mind, or satisfaction, most of the time, it's a positive towards engaging in true responsibility. It's a spiritual responsibility that is in line with your reason for being. Pay attention, however, if responsibility is draining or causing sadness or anger, and giving a sense of being depleted or defeated. So there's several aspects to what is my responsibility, what is my spiritual responsibility. And we can think of these in these myriad of terms, from a mystical law to the truth of the inner mystic dancer, to knowing that we are beautiful, wonderful, loving, kind, and sacred beings. And we can do this through dance. So now we are going to move into the dance portion of the service. And after that, I'll return to this space and we'll go through some different metaphors of movement that you can use to take into your day. So just give me a moment to transition. I'll be right back. Hello, can you hear me? Good, okay. So we're going to do just a few moves to get us going. The first thing I want you to do is to think of the space here. You're holding the universe. Think about what we just read and think about what the Hawaiian dance individual was telling us in the documentary. So we have our universe here. We're facing the east. Everyone faces east, and you can do this sitting, you can do it standing, or what have you. Now I'd like you to lift the universe gently up over your head and just lean to the left, lean to the right, lean to the left, lean to the right, lean to the left. Now you're standing there, you're holding the universe, and it is beautiful. You have the stars and you have all of the sacred dust, if you will, all around you. And everyone around you is listening and playing this wonderfully loving kind of music. And everyone is just enthralled with their role and their part in the universe. So sway a little to the left, a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. Now I'm moving backwards just a little bit because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to continue to hold this universe in front of us, just slightly over our head. We're going to rise up on the tips of our toes and step gently forward, 2, 3, 4, and down again and sway, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to move to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then sway again, 2, 3, 4. We'll go back to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and sway again, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to step back, 2, 3, 4, and sway, 2, 3, 4. Are your arms getting tired? Of course they are. Well, mine are too. So gently place your universe down in front of you onto the floor and come back up and take a few gentle contractions. I'm just moving forward and back and forward and back, just a little. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Now remember, your universe is there right in front of you, and you are a part of it, and it is a part of you. But we're going to walk around it. We're going to start by moving to the right. And we're going to keep our gaze on that universe as we walk around. We're going to keep walking all the way around the universe on the balls of your feet. And we're going to contract in. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. And we're going to go to the left, keeping an eye on that universe, walking around. Your circle can be as big or as small as you would like, depending on the size of your universe. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Now we're going to bend down, pick up the universe again, holding it here. We're going to step behind and then step behind. So step to your left, step on the right. 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 Now, we're going to turn, step on the right, all the way around in a circle. Step to the left, all the way around in a circle. You still got your universe, so step to the left, step to the right. Step to the left and turn around. And step to the left and turn around. All right. We're going to put our universe back down, and we're going to inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and bring our arms down to rest at our sides. All right, shall we do it again? I need to see a thumb up or a thumb down. Doing it again, I see a couple of thumbs up. All right, now, the thing is, they're very simple moves. You have your universe, you have your sway, you have your contraction, you have a walk around, you have a step to the back, step to the left, and a turn. Now I'm going to do it, but you may do it however you feel like. And I'm not playing music with this because of the time constraints that we have. But if you have music with meter, or if you have a violin or some lovely slow music that you can play with this, feel free to do so. So let's start, we'll go through it. Again, we have our universe. We slightly bend to the knees, We're looking towards the east. We raise our universe up ahead, over our head, and we go sway and sway and sway. And just remember how much we are influencing the way the universe is moving, right? And we bring it back down to the front. On the balls of our feet, we walk forward and back, and then we sway and sway and sway and sway. Then we move to the left and sway and sway and sway. Move back to the right and sway and sway and sway. And just let go and back, 2, 3, 4, and sway, sway, sway. You put that universe down, but you do own and present as part of that universe. And we walk around on the balls of our feet, keeping our eye on that universe and how we are creating or expanding. And then we turn and walk again around. We keep our eye on this lovely universe. And then we exhale. Exhale. And then we reach down and we pick up the universe again, and we step, tap, step, step, tap, step, step to the left, step on the right, step on the right, step to the left. Now we're going to turn and take the universe with us. And here we're going to do it again. Turn. Now, if you're really, really interested, you can make it fast. Turn and turn and turn. Turn and turn and turn and turn. It's however you like. And we place the universe back down and our hands to our sides. So once again, pick up the universe. You can go fast or slow. Sway and sway and sway and forward and sway and sway and sway and to the left. Sway and sway and sway, and to the right, sway, sway and sway, and back, and sway and sway and sway. And we put the universe down. And we walk, and we look on the balls of our feet. We're walking around this universe. And again, if you want, you can move fast and go around. It's really at your pace. And we pick it up and we bring it and we step and we step and we turn and turn and step. And then we turn and turn and turn some more and turn and turn and turn and place it back down and hands. All right. How are we doing? Okay, let's see, where are we with time? All right, I'm going to go back to my other room. All right, I'll see you there. Okay, can you all hear me? Let me see some faces here. How are people doing? Good, I see some smiles, so that's a positive. All right, let me go ahead and talk to you about some ways you can take these are very daily moves that we do every day into your daily life. So, several times today, I lift up my arms and sway from my body to remind me that I dance with the universe and I'm free to receive all its sacred treasury. I remember I hold the freedom to create and I am responsible for my creations. I place both arms up over my head and imagine tossing loving, healing magic into the atmosphere. I bring them down quietly and let them rest easily at my sides. I keep my active spiritual power in my heart and mind. I rise on the balls of my feet several times a day and take a moment to gaze into the sky, then into the universe that lives within me, and I own my own power. At least one time today, someone will probably ask me to do something, to think something, or be something that I'm not. Before I respond, I will graciously excuse myself if needed and go to a private space, whether that's an internal private space or an actual physical private space. And there I will make a slow 60-degree turn, standing in place, knowing I hold the universe in my hands and I decide how I answer. A few times during my day today, I sweep my arms in front, upwards, and then gently behind me as I freely hold my corner of the universe steady and fulfilling my innermost desires. I inhale deeply, step forwards, backwards, right, and left, and hold my arms out at shoulder height today, knowing that I'm able to accept and share pure joy as being unending and available for everyone. It's a freedom that all humanity shares, and blessed be.
Thank you, Carla. It's beautiful.
Back to you.
Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us. A community.
Bob, you're on mute.
No, I'm not. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can continue.
Okay, this is the time in our service when we ask for the support of Star King Unitarian Universalist Church. There are many ways to contribute. You can check the Star King website for some of the options. The easiest one for me is to put a check in the envelope every month. Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and hope. We are the keepers of the dream. We have a little bit of an announcement coming today, and I think it's going to be some good news. I'm hoping so anyway. And we will now turn the spotlight to Karina Vassar. Can we spotlight Karina? There she is. Okay. You're muted. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, thank you for allowing me to unmute myself. My name is Corina Vasari, and I'm here to give an announcement. Good morning, everybody. The Star King UU Church Board of Trustees at its meeting July 1st affirmed that we could regather for in-person worship on Sunday, August 29th, 2021. Until then, we will continue to hold virtual services on Zoom. Excuse me. The purposes of waiting to gather for in-person services is guided by our UU values of love, inclusion, justice, and safety. We commit to do no harm, to protect the vulnerable among us. We will not contribute to the community spread of COVID-19. Continue to review current information from Alameda County on spikes, Delta variant, and new CDC guidelines. Be transparent about our decision-making process. And on a personal note, I'm very thankful for this very thoughtful process of waiting to open for in-person services that is guided by our UU values. Both Mireya and Nayela, my two daughters, are too young to get the vaccination. Both of my girls have asthma. Nayela's asthma has gotten so bad that every time she gets a cold, her asthma flares up and it turns to pneumonia, and sometimes this leads to a stay in the hospital. Since COVID hit, and we have been sheltering in place at home. My girls have not been sick once with a cold and no asthma flare-ups. As a parent of children who are too young to get the vaccine, I thank the congregation of Sarton Church for your patience, understanding, and love, and ensuring that we can open the church doors to all in a safe manner. If you have any questions, please see President Roy Dickerson and or Vice President Maleva Lewis. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. So now we will extinguish the chalice, and after that, we will have a benediction. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Carla?
May the light around us guide our footsteps and hold us fast to the best and most righteous that we seek. May the darkness around us nurture our dreams and give us rest so that we may give ourselves to the work of our world. Let us seek to remember the wholeness of our lives, the weaving of light and shadow in this great and astonishing dance in which we move. It's from Kathleen McTeague.
And now we have a closing song. That ends our service for this Sunday. And we again thank you, Carla. And this month we're dedicating to relaxation and ease. And this is a very, very telling part of that. Your service today is greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. Someone's asking in the chat to have the text. I'm happy to share the text.